Let me take you back to October 2023. My life was amazing. I was in my final year at university in Newcastle upon Tyne. I'd just come back from a holiday with one of my good mates, and we actually had another one planned for the uni semester just to reward ourselves for the hard work we've been doing. I had a great work-life balance. I was really looking forward to that next step from progressing with my career. But one night changed everything. I was out with some friends on a night out, like I've been many times before. Everyone's having a great time, hopping from bar to bar. Everyone's in great form, but then I don't remember. See, it wasn't until the next day when I woke up that I realized something was wrong. I was in my friend's house, and I had a duvet over the top of me at the bottom of the stairs. I have no recollection of the night before. My head was spinning, my stomach was turning, but the most noticeable thing was I couldn't hear anything. I just had this constant piercing, ringing sound in both my ears that would chime every now and again. You know, at first, I found it quite funny because all I could think about was, what actually happened last night? How did we get here? Why am I at the bottom of my friend's stairs? I was also completely unable to stand at the time, so I walked up to my friend's room just to find out what had happened. This is when I was informed that I was actually assaulted the night before. He informed me that whenever we were walking home after our night out, I was like some guy, just complete stranger, attacked me. So this explained why my head was so sore. It just made me think I had a really bad concussion, but it didn't explain my hearing. So I just tried to sleep it off. I tried blowing my nose, similarly to how you would, on a plane, just hoping that it would pop back to normal, but nothing was changing. My friends also came in and were shouting my name in the hope that I could hear them, but still, nothing was changing. So we decided to go to A&E. When I was there, they put me in a neck brace because they were concerned for my health. I had lots and lots of tests before they moved me to the serious clinic, or the serious brain injury clinic. My only thoughts at the time were, will my hearing be okay? What's actually wrong? The doctors couldn't answer. Like, I know the fracture in my skull will be okay, and I recover, but why is my hearing like this? So after 5 days, they were happy to discharge me. They referred me to another hospital just to investigate my hearing. Even though the last few days were tough, I was quite optimistic, Like, I came to the hospital barely being able to stand. I can now walk without a crutch. So I was quite hopeful. But after a few tests were done, the diagnosis was clear that I have profound hearing loss in both my ears. I'm now profoundly deaf. My only method of communication at the time was either writing on a page or typing on the notes app on our phone. Lip reading was just too difficult for me at this time. I can still remember those words from the audiologist. You have profound hearing loss. This is permanent. It's never going to come back. I was devastated, crushed. I had hope, and it just came crashing down. It felt like the whole world was against me. Whilst my head wasn't in the right place, the audiologist had mentioned something called a cochlear implant. I didn't know what this was, but they told me I had to be patient as further testing had to happen. Luckily, everything went to plan, and I was fast-tracked to get a cochlear implant in January 2024. I'm not going to take the time just to explain what a cochlear implant is. So on the left, that was me post-surgery, and on the right, that's where the cochlear implant is. So now I can't hear anything. This earpiece sits in my ear, picks up the sound, and this is the magnet that sticks to my head. Hopefully it doesn't fall off. So, a cochlear implant is a small electronic device that helps people with severe or profound hearing loss, like myself, to gain access to sound. The bit that you saw that dangled there is the magnet that connects to the internal processor, which was surgically placed in my head. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Is this a brain surgery? Does the magnet actually get drilled into your skull? How are you deaf if you can still hear? Does this mean you can stick to the fridge? Don't worry, these are the same questions I had. A big misconception is that it's a hearing aid, or that it restores my hearing that I previously had back to normal. These are incorrect. A cochlear implant is completely different. A hearing aid just makes sounds louder. A cochlear implant bypasses the damaged part of my inner ear, sends signals to my hearing nerve, which my brain then picks up as sound. This technology is insane, to be honest. Like, I barely can explain it to people, so that's just the easiest I can do. But getting used to this new reality was incredibly tough. It was like watching TV on mute, but all the time. But nothing could have prepared me for my cochlear implant activation day. After months of near enough silence, being able to hear again was mental. Suddenly sounds that I could remember from before were rushing back in, but not how they used to be, but they were still there. I could hear the clicking of the keyboard from the audiologist in the clinic. My dad, who was sat behind me, I could hear his voice. We called my mum on the phone. I was able to hear her play one of my favorite songs. It was the most surreal experience of my life. It was amazing, but strange, because everything just sounded robotic and artificial. Everyone just sounded like Mickey Mouse to me for ages, so I just couldn't take them seriously. That was tough to accept. I had to relearn how speech and sound worked. I had to relearn music, and I had to train my brain to this new way of sound. Now, whilst it was successful for me, everyone else is on a different journey. While this process was physically draining, nothing could have prepared me for the emotional side of it. The realization that this is now permanent. This version of hearing, this new way of living, is now my reality. It's funny how the brain works. So I lost my hearing, and then I got this amazing technology that helped me to hear again. But I'm only now feeling the effects of losing my hearing. So I started trauma counseling. I needed help to cope with this new shift in my life. But I was determined to get back or as close to as normal as possible. But it took me to go through some challenges to realize that that accessibility is not always a priority. In the workplace, I found from my experience, people would speak behind me, they wouldn't speak clearly, or I would miss instructions. I felt like a burden. Anytime I asked for my needs, I just felt ignored. But over time, this made me realize I needed to make more of an effort to advocate for myself and for others. It has taken me some time to realize this, but my cochlear implant is a gift. It's brought so much positivity into my life. The NHS has thrown me a lifeline. My conversation is only getting started. I've started to work with deaf charities. I'm a mentor for a cochlear implant company with new people who are thinking about cochlear implantation. Last year, I had the privilege of speaking at a medical conference in front of 400 people, and now I'm here today doing the same thing, living through it and coming out the other side. And do you know what? It's given me so many things I never would have expected. Advocacy, purpose, direction. I never imagined I'd be here today sharing my story about something rubbish and turn it into something good. I want to share with you what I've learned through this experience. Resilience is not about pretending everything is okay. Resilience is about being able to adapt, the ability to change and move forward, even when things completely out of your control or uncertainty or don't go as planned. I will be honest, it is hard, but it is absolutely possible. What's worked for me is the use of humor as a coping mechanism. My family and I have laughed at the strangest things. When we were in the hospital, the doctors would constantly feed me semolina, I honestly think that was worse than the surgery. You just need to find something that works for you. The truth is, we don't get to choose what happens to us. I didn't choose to be assaulted. I didn't choose to lose my hearing. But I did choose how I responded. And in that choice, I found a strength in myself that I didn't even know I had. And what's even more amazing is that in this experience, as traumatic as it's been, it's opened up so much opportunity I never would have had before. I've met the most amazing people. I'm starting to learn BSL. I've had the privilege of sharing my story and helping others. And I'm back at university to finish my degree. This experience has helped me to build something good out of something really, really traumatic. So for everyone listening, if you are struggling, maybe not with hearing loss, but something entirely different, I want you to know change isn't always a bad thing. You are capable of turning something painful and difficult into something positive. I may have lost my hearing, but I found a way to gain so much more from life, and so can you. Thank you.